straight and bright. By the light of the Word.
Today on Light of the Word with Pastor Ray.
And Jesus says, I fulfill the law, not by taking the punishment only, but by coming up, Colossians 1, Christ in you, the hope of glory. I'm going to take up residence in you. And I will give you the ability, because I am the ability, to fulfill the law, to obey the commands of law, to walk in the integrity and the power of these commands. And man, there again, power, freedom, right there. I'll take your junk. I'll never turn it away.
Open your heart to us, Lord, so we can know your word. We come before you, Jesus. Speak to our hearts as we discover your love for us. How wide, how deep, how far. Pour into us so we can learn to follow. One surrender at a time. You have made the way for us to know you, a path that's straight and bright. By the light of the Word.
After Joab killed Abner, King David showed good judgment by declaring himself innocent of Abner's blood. The people recognized that Joab had acted on his own and not under the king's orders. David tried to do right by Abner's family, and the people appreciated that. Pastor Ray is teaching that David tried hard to be obedient to God, and it seems that most of the time came back to God quickly when he messed up. That's a good example for us to follow. If we do, we will experience the blessing of God in our lives. Well, let's turn to the 3rd chapter of the book of 2 Samuel and join Pastor Ray for part 3 of his message.
David's got a mess that's going to need to be unsorted. To which I say and ask you, what mess have you made lately? Man, did I tell you guys what Renee did? No. What mess have you made? Even men and women after God's own heart. And that's anyone who has given their life to Christ. Your heart's knit together. We are the picture of David because our hearts have to be knitted together because it's Christ in us. Colossians 1, the hope of God. Christ lives in us. He takes up residence in us. There ain't nothing any closer knitting together than God living inside of you. And we can say, what mess have you made? God says, let's sort it out. Because I know what you want to do. You've made a mess and now you want to run. You're ashamed to talk to me, or you just say, I've made the mess. I got to figure it out. God says, no, you made the mess. Let us figure it out. It's an amazing God that we make messes. He says, let us sort this together. Let us figure this out together. Let me get you back to where you need to be. And so we can just simply come, Lord, I made a mess. And don't run from it. Just sit and go, what do you want me to do? God's going to say, there's consequences, but here's what we're going to do. Verse 22 through 25, here comes Joab. This is David's commander of his army. At that moment, and just real quick, if you remember, Joab's brother was killed by Abner in our last chapter. So there's some bad blood here. At that moment, the servants of David and Joab came from a raid and brought much spoil with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away and he had gone in peace. Making a statement of peace so that everybody would know this wasn't David's conspiracy against Abner. We'll get to that. Verse 23, when Joab and all the troops that were with him had come, they told Joab, saying, Abner, the son of Ner, came to the king, and he sent him away, and he has gone in peace. Verse 24, then Joab came to the king and said, what have you done? Look, Abner came to you. Why is it that you have sent him away and he is already gone? Surely you realize that Abner, the son of Ner, came to deceive you, to know you're going out and you're coming in, and to know all that you are doing. So Joab comes and challenges the king. And we're going to do character studies, and Joab's quite the character. We're going to study. Joab, man, you want him in battle, but you don't want him in the city. This is a guy. Put him in the battlefield, man. I go to war, I want Joab with me. If I'm sitting back in the city, please, Joab, find some battle for Joab, because everywhere he goes in the city is going to be a problem. And so here, there's this problem with Joab. And I look at Joab, I go, well, that's pretty disrespectful. That's the king. You going to come talk to the king like that? This is God's anointed. You're going to come and say, what are you doing? And why are you doing it like that? Until I'm reminded how many times I've said that to my king. What are you doing? Why'd you do it like that? There's a place of respect for the king. And we just need to say, you're the king. You did what you did, and I trust you. You know what? If I die, I die. Though the Lord slay me, yet I will praise him. But when you die, you realize and you'll see the power of your king. When you die, you'll find out the power that you have, because you know, my king, he reigns. So Joab, he sounds like a great military strategist. That's a setup. He's coming in to do intel on us, and that's why he's here. You can't trust him, but we're going to see ulterior motives. He hates Abner because Abner killed his brother in the battle that we read in the past chapter. So Joab, he's a man of the flesh. Hey, by the way, before I move on to verse 26, no one ever crumbles in a day. David, why are you not out at war? We will read, and we come to that story when Bathsheba, and we'll read the precursor statement that just yells it out. It says, and at the time when kings went out to war. But David didn't go out to war. David's on his rooftop. And here's Joab. He's out to war. David's in the city. We're seeing a kink in David's armor. David's going to say, I need to stay and be the statesman. I need to stay and take care of political business. And this was a good call for business with Abner. But we'll see, David, you should have been out at war. And that's what we got to be, Christian. We got to stay in the war. There's no retreat. There's no rest until we get to the other side. Verse 26 and 27. And when Joab had gone from David's presence, he sent messengers after Abner, who brought him back from the well of Sirah, but David did not know it. Now when Abner had returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him privately, and there stabbed him in the stomach, so that he died for the blood of Ashiel, his brother. So we can see truly what was Joab's heart. It was a heart of revenge. And it's interesting as we read through in Deuteronomy 19, if you recall, as we've talked about those things, the avenger of blood. They didn't have police forces back there. And so Deuteronomy 19 tells of when someone willfully with hatred kills another in Israel, it was the responsibility of the immediate family, the brothers or the fathers, to be the avenger of blood. That's exactly what it's called, the avenger of blood. Joab would have a responsibility to be the avenger of blood. But Joab is not being the avenger of blood in accordance to Deuteronomy 19. He's being the revenger of blood. Because it was willful hatred, murder. And as we studied, Abner killed Ashiel in battle. Abner even gave Ashiel the way out, saying, man, you're Joab's brother, right? And they're running and told that Ashiel's real fast, and Abner, he's an old man. He's huffing and puffing. He's like, dude, turn back. Basically, I'm going to have to stop and fight you. And I'm going to kill you because I'm a seasoned warrior. He didn't say that, but Ashiel wouldn't stop. Abner has no choice but to kill Ashiel. It was war, and if anything, Abner gave him a way out. Joab is not being the avenger of blood. He's being the revenger of blood. And Romans tells us, Romans 12, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. You know what, Christian, you got revenge on your heart. Just let it go. Just let it go. Let God be Justice, there's a place for justice, and we're part of that. We have a justice system. But there's a place that it's just revenge. I just want revenge. Just let it go. It will eat you. It will consume you. So Joab, and this is what's amazing about Joab. Joab has ulterior motive. Abner has ulterior motive. Yes, David didn't inquire of the Lord, but here's still a fact that can be made. And that is that through this, David and Abner, the nation can be united. And look at this. For one man's desire for blood, revenge, Joab, he kills the man that can bring a unified nation. And I am amazed at how many times I watch Christians, forget the world, I watch Christians, because of revenge, because of a hatred, because of a bitterness, it's going to be 5 years before this nation is united. And I can watch it in Christians because of the bitterness, the revenge, and the hatred that I have for you. I will let there be disunity that spreads through a whole body, spreads through a whole church because of what you did. Joab, if he would have just stood down, let God be the avenger, and God's justice comes, there could have been a unified nation 5 years early. But it is interesting, again, as we look at this, in Joshua 21, remember our study through Joshua, cities of refuge. And it was, if somebody killed somebody, they could run to a city of refuge and be protected by the high priest and there wait for a fair trial. And guess where the city of refuge was? One of the 6. Hebron. What city are we in? Hebron. Joab kills Abner in the gates of the city of refuge. No fair trial, no seeking the high priest, no laying out, this is what happened, and the high priest would make a statement of, that was not premeditated murder, that was war, he's free to go, whatever that might be. Instead, here we are, Joab kills Abner in a city of refuge. Joab's a man of the flesh. We'll be walking through with him for several chapters more. I have to share one of my places of lack of faith. Renee knows it. She's gentle with me. The trash dump at Anne Arundel County. Because I always have anxiety after I've loaded up my truck with all this junk and stuff, that I'm going to get to the gate of the dump and they're going to say a big sign, closed. Or I'm going to get there and they're going to go, oh, we don't take that. You're a dump. What do you mean you don't take it? No, we don't take that stuff here anymore. And I get this anxiety because when I clear junk, I want to be gone from the junk. I don't want to see the junk. And I've had stuff that and if you've lived in the county long enough, you drag it to the roadside, and maybe you're like me, I'm sitting there and I hear the truck coming. I just dragged out this 300-pound grill, that doesn't work anymore. And I drag it out there and I hear the truck coming and I'm peeking through the curtains. And I'm hoping, I'm just watching. And I watch them throw all the trash and then they drive away. And the grill's still there. And I go, they didn't take the grill. Oh, well, it was too heavy. I go, it wasn't too heavy for me. Why is it too heavy for 2 guys? Sorry, you have to bring it to the dump. So then I got to throw it in the truck, haul it to the dump, and then with the fear that for some reason the dump's closed that day. Or with the fear that I'm going to get there and they're going to say, oh, we don't take grills. Because if you lived in the county long enough, you ever take spray paint down or paints and you get there and they go, we only take spray paint for 1 week out of the year. What do you mean you only take it for 1 week out of the year? What am I supposed to do with it? Save it. Why would I say I brought it here to put it in a dump? Why don't you take it and dispose it? Now bring it back in a year and we'll dispose it for you. And I go, why don't you dispose it now? Because we only do that once a year. So you can see my fear. That I show up and I've just hauled all this stuff and put it in my truck and I just want to see it go. And I get there and I have this fear that they're going to say, no, you can't. But when they do let you in, it is therapeutic. You back your truck, right? You guys, you gals, you back your truck up. If you live in Howard County, it's even better because it's like a cliff. You dump it off a cliff, man. It's, but you come here, and you throw it in there and you watch it. And now they even got guys, young people that help you. And I back up. I've been making lots of trips to the dump because we've been doing finally clearing some stuff out. And he always comes running, and I kind of like it. But in a sense, this is my therapy time. I like being the one who throws the trash. And anyways, I thought you only helped old people and women. Why would you help me? I don't get it. Why do you think I need help? I have a fear that they changed the rule. And if you've lived in the county long enough, you've noticed they changed the rules. So you show up and, that was last year's rule. This is this year's rule. That's why I have this anxiety that they changed the rules on me. And I can't get rid of my junk. And I just want to tell you, the glory of God, he never changes the rules on taking your junk. It is set in stone, never to change. And as we look at Hebron, the city of refuge, Jesus Christ, it's the picture, these cities of refuge, they're pictures of Jesus Christ. When you've broken and violated God's law and killed somebody, you come to the city of refuge and the high priest will protect you. Jesus, Hebrews tells us, is the high priest. We can come to him, and who have we killed? We've killed Jesus himself with our sin. And yet he says, come to the city of refuge, and I will protect you, and I will get you a fair trial. Maybe it's better said, an unfair trial. Because a fair trial would be, bring the evidence, guilty. But it's an unfair trial because they say, bring the evidence, and they go, there is no evidence. What do you mean there's no evidence? Well, Jesus has destroyed all the evidence. Colossians 2, he nailed the handwriting of the law there upon the cross. He nailed it to the cross, and it is wiped out. There is no evidence that can convict us. And the rules never change. And maybe you feel like that sometimes. Maybe it's like, yeah, God saves everybody, but maybe I'm a special exception, and you're not. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever should believe in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. And that word perish is in the present tense perfect. For God, and it would read, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not continue perishing. It's present. You're perishing, and you're continue to perish, and you will ultimately perish and die into hell, except God gave his only begotten Son. He's ended the way to put an end to your perishing. In Matthew 5:17, Jesus says, I did not come to destroy the law, and that law was against us, but I came to fulfill it. Jesus came, and he fulfills the law in that he took our punishment, and it's one and done, and the rule never changes. The junk can be removed and dumped in the trash, never to be turned away. But then the beauty of it is, the fulfilling of the law is that Jesus fulfills the law in us. I am the law. I created the law. And let there be no mistake, the law is good. The law that we read of God, the commands of God, the ethical, the moral, these laws are good. And when an individual obeys them, life is good because they're powerful. They're living and powerful. When a nation obeys them, a nation prospers. And Jesus says, I fulfill the law, not by taking the punishment only, but by coming up, Colossians 1, Christ in you, the hope of glory. I'm going to take up residence in you. And I will give you the ability, because I am the ability, to fulfill the law, to obey the commands of law, to walk in the integrity and the power of these commands. And man, there again, power, freedom, right there. I'll take your junk. I'll never turn it away. And so, it's just a read through here, verse 28. Afterward, when David heard it, he said, "My kingdom and I are guiltless before the Lord forever of the blood of Abner, the son of Ner. Let it rest on the head of Joab and on all of his father's house, and let there never fail to be in the house of Joab one who has a discharge or a leper, who leans on a staff, falls by the sword, who lacks bread." Verse 30, so Joab and Abishai, his brother, killed Abner because he had killed their brother Ashiel at Gibeon in the battle. Then David said to Joab and all the people who were with him, "Tear your clothes and gird yourself with sackcloth and mourn for Abner." And King David followed the coffin. So they buried Abner in Hebron, and the king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner, and all the people wept. And the king sang a lament over Abner and said, "Should Abner die as a fool dies? Your hands were not bound, nor your feet put in fetters. As a man falls between wicked men, so you fell." He's making the statement. Man, you weren't taken in battle. You were deceived. Then all the people wept over him again. Verse 35, and when all the people came to persuade David to eat food while it was still day, David took an oath, saying, "God do so to me, and more also, if I taste bread or anything else till the sun goes down." Now all the people took note of it, and it pleased them, since whatever the king did pleased all the people. For all the people and all of Israel understood that day that it had not been the king's intent to kill Abner and the son of Ner. Verse 38, then the king said to his servants, "Do you not know that a prince and a great man has fallen this day in Israel? And I am weak today, though anointed king, and these men, the sons of Zeruiah," that's Joab and Abishai's mother, David's sister, "are too harsh for me. The Lord shall repay the evildoer according to his wickedness." So David's making a statement to Israel. I didn't have any evil in my heart for Abner. And the people are seeing the tenderness of the king. David's displaying his heart. You know what? People are drawn to compassion. And when we show compassion, and when we give compassion, people are just drawn to it because we live in a very compassionless world, a very harsh world, a very get it for yourself, take care of me world. But when someone stops and shows compassion, the world sees and goes, there's something different there. So may we be a compassionate people like David, as he has this compassion, even for who would be considered his enemy. But I do have to say this, and not the way you like to end. You like to end with something warm. But David, another kink in your armor. I appreciate your compassion. But David, according to the law, Joab needed to die right there. He was the murderer. And so we see another kink in David's armor in that he will not put discipline when discipline is due. Big difference between vengeance and revenge and justice. And so God has a law, God has a way, and those things, as uncomfortable as they are, have to be carried forth. So we see a kink in David's armor. Your weeping was beautiful, but there needed to be a following of the law. So we need that too. The word, the law. And better said, God's word that we obey.
You have made the way for us to know you, a path that's straight and bright. By the light of the word.
We know your day is hectic and filled to the brim, so we're so happy you chose to spend time with us today on Light of the Word. We'd like to share another way you can hear Pastor Ray Bolus's messages and even take them with you on the go. Light of the Word has a mobile app for Apple, Android, and Windows devices, giving you access to the latest teachings as soon as they're made available, right at your fingertips. You'll also have Pastor Ray's teaching notes, be able to set up a personalized Bible reading plan, plus discover more about Calvary Chapel of Anne Arundel County, the church these messages originate from. You'll find a link to download this app under the About tab at our website, ccaac.org. We'd love to stay in touch with you, so don't forget to sign up for our weekly newsletter while you're there. Do you have a prayer request you'd like to share with us, or do you have any questions? If so, please take a moment to email us at mail@ccaac.org. That email address again is mail@ccaac.org. We'll get back to you as soon as possible and do our best to answer your questions. We love that we can lift our listeners up to the Lord in prayer, and we'd like to ask you if you do the same for us. Thanks for praying, and thanks for listening today to Light of the Word, illuminating the heart of God.